Hi, this is Annie Grace, author of This Naked Mind, Alcohol Exposed, and today I want to talk a little bit about alcohol and stress relief. It's common knowledge in our culture that alcohol relieves stress. We use it to transition from a busy day at work to a relaxing evening at home. I know that I drink to relieve my stress, to relieve my anxiety, and I guess my question is that really true? Does it really relieve stress? And I think no. I think no, it's not true. And I think that's for a bunch of reasons. First of all, we can look at what actually happens when you drink. And what actually happens is that you become inebriated. And that means that your senses are dumbed down. So alcohol slows your brain function. And it does that by affecting two neurotransmitters in your brain. And both of those make you think slower and make it so that your brain does not as quickly respond to or interpret your senses. So that's what physically happens. And by definition, I mean, that just doesn't relieve stress. I guess you could make the argument that it relieves stress in the sense that if you become completely inebriated or obliterated, you can't actually feel the stress or the anxiety because you no longer have any feelings whatsoever. So it does, in a sense, take away your ability to feel your senses. So in a sense, it takes away your ability to feel. And if you're feeling stress, yes, I guess you could say that. But the problem with that, actually, is that stress is still there when you come out of it. So, for me, I remember that I still do, a ton of public speaking. And I was really good at it. And then I remember getting really heavy into drinking and becoming not so good at it. And I thought that it was just nerves. I was starting to have to speak in front of more people. It was more international, and I was quite nervous. And so I would actually go and get like a little 4-pack of wine and put one in my purse to drink before I went on stage. And I was thinking, okay, this is great. This is just going to, even me out. I'm just going to be relaxed, and I'll be doing it better. The one time I've gotten really negative feedback about my public speaking was after I'd been doing that for a few months. And if I reflect on it, yes, it took some of the nerves because it took away my ability to feel them, but it created a huge problem. It created this problem that because I knew I could take my nerves a little bit away, in this extremely unhealthy way, by the way, I thought that I didn't need to prepare as much, or I didn't even think it. It was unconscious. I just didn't feel that I needed to prepare. So the night before a speech, instead of being in my room, kind of going over my notes or something, I would be out drinking. And inevitably, I'd be tired, I'd be less prepared, and my public speaking, went very quickly downhill to the point where someone actually took me aside and said, "Annie, what's wrong? You've lost your spark." And I blame that on alcohol. So yeah, in that situation, it did nothing to actually relieve my nerves or relax me or give me, courage. It actually stole that from me in the long term. And this is proven, and we don't hear about it often. It's one of the funny things about our society. We get all our news from Facebook, and so we get news based on what's shared, and people like to share things that are in line with their worldview. So if you're a drinker, you like to share things about alcohol's health benefits and blah, 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 and we don't often share things about, some of the negative aspects of alcohol, when that's a whole nother video post, but there's so much more evidence to alcohol not being great for you than there is to it being good, yet it's so much more shared and proliferated that alcohol is good for you in some sense, especially on social media. And if you're honest with yourself, you probably get a lot of your information from your Facebook feed or your Twitter feed this day and age. So there is a danger that we are only getting a select amount of what's out there. But one of these things that's not widely shared, but should be well known, is the fact that they've actually done this. They took mice and they had them drink over the course of a month, and then they put them in stressful situations, and they compared their response, the mice who had been drinking, to the mice who hadn't been drinking, and the mice who had been drinking over a course of a month were less able. It changed their brains so that they were less able to deal with stressful situations. So, I mean, if that isn't proof, I don't know what is. But, I mean, even if you think about it logically, if alcohol really relaxed us, surely we would be giving it to people before they got on stage to give speeches. Do we do that? No. Do we think that's a good idea? No. The fact that alcohol relaxes you, it's not only just not inherent in what alcohol is or does to you physically, it's really somewhat illogical. And to think that, by getting addicted to something, you're going to create less stress in your life, I mean, that's just not true. Being addicted is one of the most stressful things that can happen. And so to drink alcohol for relaxation and risk becoming addicted, because addiction can happen to anybody at any time, and you don't know how close you are or if you're already addicted until you try to stop. And so, to drink to relieve stress just seems almost the opposite of what you really should be doing. And I don't think that drinking does relieve stress. But again, it's one of those common knowledge things that proliferates our culture that we have to kind of sit back and think about. But that's this, and of course you can read more with my book, This Naked Mind, Alcohol Exposed. Thanks.